Hey, permanent weight loss fan, Pete Weintraub, permanent weight loss specialist here, and we're going to talk mindset today. So I had a couple of questions that were posed to me earlier in the week. They both regard mindset. They're both great questions, and I think they're going to help a lot of you out, not just the folks who directly ask the questions, but many of you as well. The mind is a very, very crucial component to losing weight and keeping it off. It takes a lot more than just diet and exercise, because for the most part, we've all been on a diet before, we've all been on an exercise program before, but a lot of it doesn't seem to stick, and that's because a lot of those things are very temporary. You have a short-term goal in mind, whether you have, well, most people in this group are 50 or more pounds to lose, but whether you have very little to lose, if you've got a lot to lose, that's a short-term goal. In the scheme of your life, barring a terrible tragedy, you're going to be on this earth for a while, so this is going to be a short-term period of your life, and unfortunately, we need to change that a little bit and start treating it like a lifestyle, and that's what you need to do. You need to make lifestyle changes that are going to enable you to not just lose the weight you want to lose and change the body composition you want to change and get into the shape you want to get into, but then to have the wherewithal to stay there. So we had a couple of questions, and I'm going to read the first one right now. So this was posed to us by A. Chris Alexander of the group, so thank you for asking. And the question was, a discussion on what happens after you reach your goal and how to maintain your success would be helpful and encouraging. Now, this is something that I personally struggled with on my weight loss journey. Hey, Ken, thanks for checking this out. But something that I struggled with on my weight loss journey was I lost 100 pounds. And I was in the best shape of my life a couple of summers ago. I was shredded, and if you look at the before-after pics, you can see that I had abs and I had quite a bit going on here. Unfortunately, at that point, I got complacent. And the reason for that was that my motivations were short-term based. Basically, growing up, I was tormented by kids who were in better shape, more athletic, whatever the case may have been, and it haunted me. So what I wanted to do was prove them wrong and show them up. And that was my prime motivation. So on the days I felt lazy and didn't want to work out, or the days where I wanted to just binge eat and not worry about anything, I would use those people as my motivation so that I could prove them wrong. And when I got to that point, and when obviously this was my profession, this is what I do for a living, and I was well beyond them in many capacities, that was something that was very challenging. So for about 2 months, I just said, you know what, screw it. I'm not going to exercise that much. I'm not going to eat well all that often. And I gained 20 pounds. So it started on my birthday a couple of years ago. And from then until Thanksgiving here in the States, I gained about 20 pounds back. Now, I've since righted the ship, and that's no longer an issue. But it's important to change your motivations as you go. We often use external motivation. So if you're a parent, you might use your kids. You might realize you can't keep up with your kids. You don't seem to have the energy necessary to adequately parent them, and you want to be there for them. Perhaps your love life with your significant other is struggling, and he or she is not as attracted to you as they once were, maybe due to the weight gain, your lethargy, your sex drive's gone, whatever the case may be, and you want to try and rekindle that and get it back by getting into better shape and improving your health through proper nutrition and regular exercise. So those motivations are going to help you reach your short-term goal, and they're extremely powerful motivators, don't get me wrong. But I had to have a talk with myself when I went through this 20-pound weight gain after obviously losing the 100 pounds, being in the best shape of my life, and just kind of letting things go, because at that point, it's like, what am I fighting for? I was fighting to prove these people wrong. Mission accomplished. What's next? And I realized a couple of things. I mean, for myself, and this isn't applicable to you, but for myself, I'm a permanent weight loss specialist. This is my business. I help people lose weight for good. How can I set that example if I'm not doing I'm practicing what I'm preaching? So that's number one. And number two, I had to realize that comparison, this is a great quote by a former U.S. President, Teddy Roosevelt. He's long since gone, but he was a president here in the early 20th century. And he said, comparison is the thief of all joy. So at least in my case, I was comparing myself to these other people, and I felt they're well beyond me in terms of their physiques, their athleticism, their endurance, all that, their confidence, and I need to catch up to them, and I need to exceed them. So it was all about comparison. And I got there, and then I lost all my motivation. And I had to realize, look, I'm worth it. And I looked at my family history. Unfortunately, heart disease runs rampant in my family. I have a cousin who died in his mid-30s of a heart attack. It was very sudden. It wasn't something that was expected. My dad's had a couple of heart attacks over the last 5 years or so. He just had stents put in about a month ago to help open up blood flow in a clogged artery. And I don't want to follow in their footsteps. Not to say that I'm 100% going to avoid it, but you can damn well bet that I'm doing everything in my power to make sure that I don't wind up in a hospital, I don't wind up dead because I didn't do my best to take care of myself. So you have to, at some point, when you reach your short-term goal, flip things and realize, you know what, I'm worth it. This is for me. This isn't for my kids. This isn't for my spouse. Sure, this is going to help those relationships and help me serve them better, but it's my life. You see life through your eyes. I see life through my eyes. Don't you think it's important that you're in the best shape possible, both mental and physical, to get there? So that's the type of mindset you need to have. And it's very common, like I said, when you reach your short-term goal to become complacent and to fall off the wagon. So that's number one. So now we're going to get into the second question that was posed by another group member. Let me just pull it up. It was by Sonia. Here we go. And Sonia said she wanted to talk a little bit about mindset, how mindset is the beginning to a never-ending battle of weight loss, nutritional change, and then she used the examples of lifestyle change and fitness. Right. So kind of working in reverse here, mindset, like I said in the beginning, is extremely crucial to you succeeding and sustaining your results on your weight loss journey. You can have the best diet, you can have the best exercise program in the world, but if your head's not in the game for the right reasons and you're easily derailed, and that's an issue. Now, in the beginning, when you have certain food addictions, whether it's to sugar or grains or some processed stuff, it takes a little bit to wean yourself off. And unfortunately, due to withdrawal symptoms, physically, all you want is to binge on sugar or binge on grains or binge on whatever it is that you were struggling with. But you have to have the discipline and the wherewithal to say, you know what, I will get through these physical symptoms. And once I do, I'm going to start feeling immensely better. My inflammation is going to go down. I'm going to think more clearly. My moods are going to be better regulated. And that's what's going to help you get to the promised land. So it does take discipline, and it does take making it a lifestyle. So one of the things I do with my private clients or my group members is that I give specific examples. So we all have treats and meals that are definitely not good for us. Soda's been a popular one, so I'll use that as an example right now. So soda is an issue that a lot of my more recent clients have had, and I found a great brand called Zevia, Z-E-V-I-A, and it's made with all natural ingredients, nothing bad in it. It's sweetened with stevia, which has no effect on your blood sugar levels. It doesn't kill your gut bacteria like diet sodas with artificial sweeteners do. And it'll really set you up on the path of success in terms of weaning yourself off of a Diet Coke or a Diet Pepsi or whatever the case may be, which is sweetened with either Splenda or aspartame, depending on the brand that you're drinking. So I always set my clients up with personalized, simple substitutions that they can make in order to make the necessary dietary changes. And I linked a video in this group earlier this week when I did my group call with my Holiday Jumpstart program. I've gotten permission to link all those videos to this group as well. So you're getting 8 weeks of free trainings on fitness, nutrition, and mindset. And in that video, we went over exactly what happens after 2 to 4 weeks. Your palate will change if you stay the course and you eat healthy. You don't have to be perfect, but if 80% or more of what you're eating is of a high quality, your palate's going to change. A lot of the sweets, a lot of the grains, a lot of the processed stuff that you may have eaten on a very, very regular basis prior to starting your journey is going to dissipate. So that's something to keep in mind. Your palate will change. That will make it easier. Your cravings will go away once you get past the early withdrawal symptoms. And then it's just a lifestyle. Then it's understanding, you know what, we place, there's this expression here in the States, maybe it's made its way around the world because I know we've got a lot of international members in here as well. Foodie, people who love decadent, rich, sugary foods. And you know what? Yeah, is it fun to eat that stuff? Yes. Why? Because it releases dopamine and certain chemicals in our brains that make us crave it more. And sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine. It lights our brains up like a Christmas tree if you look at CT scans performed on people right as they're ingesting sugar. So that's really why we feel that way and why it tastes so good to us if our palate is left unchecked, if we're eating that stuff on a regular basis. But once you get yourself off of it, you realize food, you can make great, delicious, healthy recipes that are reminiscent of what you ate as a kid or what you were eating prior to starting your journey. But food is fuel. It's simple as that. It's changing your mindset around food, to eat when you're hungry, not to eat on a regimented schedule, to eat to satisfy, not to stuff your face. It's getting rid of this whole decadence and status that we put on food and just looking at it for what it is. And some people are like, oh, that takes the fun out of it. But once you get over your cravings and your addiction to certain types of food, that's not going to happen. Then it's just a lifestyle. Then it's just simply following the rules, if you even want to call it rules, is the strategies, let's say, that are really going to help you get to the promised land. So nutritionally, eat meats, vegetables, nuts and seeds, low glycemic fruit, so some fruit, little starch, half a cup or less at any meal, and no added sugar. You memorize that sentence, you apply it to every nutritional situation you're in, and then you eat only when you're hungry and eat only when satisfied, not to stuff your face. The 3 sentences, very easy to remember, and that's it. From the fitness side too, while exercise can help expedite the weight loss process, it does not get you to the promised land. Exercise alone will not help you to lose weight and keep it off. It's just not going to happen. It's been linked to improving your mitochondrial health, and your mitochondria and your cells are extremely important in fighting off disease, both genetic disease, maybe some preventable diseases that can develop due to poor lifestyle habits. So exercise is crucially important to maintaining health and maintaining functionality throughout the duration of your life. But it's important to make that a regular part of your day too. It's almost like, we're taught to take a multivitamin or something like that. I don't often recommend that unless you have a severe vitamin deficiency, in which case you should probably take that vitamin supplement instead of a huge one that gives you 1,000 times what you need on a daily basis. But getting back, fitness is something that's important. And instead of looking at it like a chore, instead of looking at it like, oh, I have to go to the gym and I have work and then I have to deal with my family after work or whatever, don't look at it like that. Make it fun. For myself as well, I play softball a couple times a week. I played twice this week. I'm playing a 3rd time this coming Sunday in another league. And I only play twice this week in the week because there's a makeup game, but whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is, 3 of the times that I exercise every week, I'm doing something that I definitely enjoy. Other days, I'll feel how my body is. Usually, after playing softball, I play a very demanding position physically. I'll do yoga the next day. I'll feel tight. I want to loosen up, and that's exactly what I'll do. Some days, I got this new steel club. I'll include a link here in the comments below if you want to check it out. I'm thinking of doing a fitness training on the steel club because it's a very functional piece of equipment, but I love that thing, and on days where I want to really work up a sweat and build some muscle, that's what I'll turn to. So it's making fitness fun. It's going to be different for you than it is for me. I have my own personal taste in fitness. You may enjoy hiking. You may enjoy swimming. You may enjoy bike riding. You may enjoy running. There's so many different things. You may enjoy soccer or football. We only call it soccer here in the States, but you get the drill. Make it fun. And that way you're less likely to blow it off, and you're more likely to stay involved in it. And I usually recommend to my clients, depending on their fitness level, anywhere from 4 to 5 active days a week. And it doesn't have to be a regimented workout like so many people think of exercise as. But like I said, it can be a sport, it can be hiking, it can be something fun. It can be something as simple as playing with your kids. And that's that. So I hope this talk on mindset really helped you guys, and helps to make you understand that permanent weight loss is not something that is unsustainable, is not something that's unreachable. It is extremely reachable. I've helped many people do that in various walks of life. I've lost 100 pounds and done it myself. And that's not to say that there won't be trials and tribulations, but you can get to the promised land. And just to review really quickly on the nutritional perspective, it's flipping the switch and realizing that food is fuel. It's not a decadent, status-driven thing like we've been taught. The reason that we feel that way about it and things taste so delicious is because it has these very addictive food stuffs, whether it's sugar, grains, or some processed chemicals in there that light our brains up like a Christmas tree. And since we crave them, it's like a drug addict literally getting his or her fix. And they feel so much better after they've been craving it all day or all week or however long it's been. So that's the case with nutrition. Just look at food as fuel. Eat the right types of foods. Eat it only when hungry. Don't stuff your face. Apply that to every nutritional situation you encounter, whether you're personally preparing the food or not, and you'll be good. On the fitness side, make it fun. Do what works for you. And I can promise you, not only will you reach your short-term goal, but you just keep that momentum going. And you stay there, and guess what? You won't gain the weight back. Your body composition won't revert to where you're starting from, and you'll be a lot better off. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you later.